it's going to be eventually accepted or expected that these sort of things happen when people are getting attacked in their own.
So we're on the way to the Fraser Anning meeting, and there are already people protesting.
The welcoming committee.
What's your thoughts on our welcoming committee?
I just wanted to be left alone.
I just wanted to be left alone.
Here I am being called a terrorist sympathiser by terrorist sympathisers.
Exactly. Literal terrorists in a lot of cases too.
Yes, they are literal terrorists.
So this is exactly what a certain individual who's gone and done something extremely stupid is wanting. To create polarisation and to create animosity. And for two groups in society to get so hating each other that conflict is the inevitable result. And here we have it. Exactly what was exactly the goal of the act. And
it makes me very sad. We have white people yelling at other white people. We shouldn't be divided as a country like
that's
this.
Exactly right. Why can't we just have reasonable discussions about things?
Yeah.
Instead, we have people yelling and screaming. Here he is.
Hey, no degenerates.
We arrived a little late to a packed room. Fraser Anning was already speaking on stage, so I made my way to the front to get a good spot. A number of people asked questions on a variety of topics and voiced their support for the senator. The fake news media are unlikely to report this. Fraser answered the questions well and got lots of applause from the crowd. The Unshackled have the entire Q&A session up on their YouTube channel, and I'll link to it in the description. Afterwards, Fraser did an interview with the fake news media.
I'll start by asking, what ran through your head when you heard about what had happened in Christchurch?
I think the same as everyone else, I was appalled. It was a horrendous act, and I don't know anyone who'd not be appalled by that act.
In terms of the response that you gave, do you think people had perhaps taken it out of context, or are you happy with?
That's normal. They normally take what I say out of context. That's the left-wing agenda, unfortunately.
So what did you intend to say then, or how did you hope that it was meant to be taken?
Are you talking about a tweet?
I meant your written response, where you sort of referred to New Zealand's immigration policy and things.
What I said was that a terribly unfortunate thing, a tragedy, but it's going to be eventually accepted or expected that these sort of things happen when people are getting attacked in their own.
That was good.
Let's see that again in a slow motion replay.
What the hell are you doing? Barry can't just... Oh,
Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did...
Righto, what's going on here? Oh,
Sir, I'm arrested. Oh! Arrest! Oh!
It probably wasn't necessary to choke the kid out, but he did deserve the bitch slapping. Blair Cottrell was roaming around, so I thought I'd get his thoughts.
Hey, brother, what's up?
How are you?
Not bad, just enjoying the spectacles.
Yeah. I think that was a little bit uncalled for, if you ask me.
Oh, he probably thinks what he's doing is the right thing. He believes the mainstream media reports that Fraser Anning's a white supremacist neo-Nazi, and he's stirred up, inside as a result of those media reports. This is exactly what the media is doing. It's creating extremists that are physically attacking other people. It's the media that is responsible for this guy in Christchurch, for example. They take the brunt of the responsibility, in my view. Why? They are isolating, ostracising, and vilifying any white person with views right of centre, or who is just white and not ashamed of it. And they don't see or have no concept of their hypocrisy, no self-awareness. It's staggering. And this is the sort of hatred they stir up. everything the media does is fanning the flames of the conflict. They're accelerating the process of a civil or even a racial war. And they're doing it consciously a lot of the time. So,
Have you read the Shooters Manifesto? Yeah.
Bits and pieces. It was mostly it was incoherent, and it's just hard to process.
If you read the whole thing, that accelerationism and that polarisation is exactly what he was aiming for.
Well, it's exactly what the media want as well. And that's why they're having a field day with this terror attack. Yeah. I really hope regular people can see and understand that this sort of terrorism, this Christchurch terrorist, he does more damage to us as a nation than any Islamic terrorist could hope to do. And this plays into the hands of the media and the government establishment, the state establishment, which is trying to create as much tension between the different people in this country as possible. They bring the immigrants in from radically different cultures. They vilify and ostracise Australians who oppose that immigration because they foresee the conflict, the cultural and racial conflict. And when that conflict happens, they help to exacerbate it and further isolate us. So I hope that people can see that. And I pray actually, that the Muslims see that it's not us who are their enemies, it's that same media and government alliance. So I hope people actually think a little bit, and actually look beyond their own noses. That's my final word.
Leader of Lad Society, Tom Sewell, had this to say about Fraser Anning.
As long as his party gets registered and the people of Queensland vote him back in power, that's what's important, to have some sort of representative of the European community here in Australia.
Finally, the man himself was nice enough to give me a minute or two of his time.
What's your name? Sorry again. Oh, Matt, how are you? Jesus, sorry, mate.
You forgot my name again!
He
forgets me every time.
Sorry, Matt.
Guess what? I'm here with Fraser Anning, as you've all seen. Just got to see him answer a few questions up on stage. And then after the fact, he was going to do an interview, or was doing an interview with Channel 10, I think it was. And an idiot has come and thrown an egg in the back of his face and kind of found out what happens when you act a fool in a crowd like this. So thanks for coming down, first of all. Really appreciate your time coming to Melbourne to meet everyone and answer all the questions. And most of all, thank you for not cucking. Thank you for actually standing up for Australian values and not being afraid to say what you think and stand up for what we think as well.
You're welcome.
So how's the back of your head, firstly?
He hit me with an egg and his hand, but no damage. Not as bad as I've had in pubs in years gone by.
Well, that's exactly what I thought. I thought it was just an idiot trying to make a political point, but we'll just end up making some footage go viral of you fighting back and showing how a real Australian reacts when they're punched in the back of the head.
Because he's only a kid, I only slapped him with an open hand, but he deserves that. He needs to, get a few manners, and just because somebody has a different opinion to you, there's no need to attack them. Just like we saw over in New Zealand, there's no need to go and kill people and attack people just because they have a different view. I don't agree with them being here, but no need to go and shoot them.
And I thought your statement was quite good, given that you've come out and said, yeah, it was a bad act, he shouldn't have done it, it was a horrible thing that he did, but still it wouldn't have happened if they weren't here in the first place. And if we just ended the mass immigration and Muslims stayed in Muslim countries, then there'd be no conflict. Like, this conflict has been brewing for a long time, and we're doing everything we can to stop it. We don't want this conflict, we don't want more violence, but while there are people who won't assimilate, it'll keep happening.
Exactly. Most Australians just want to live in peace, like we did, many years ago before all this Muslim immigration and Sudanese immigration. We're not living in peace anymore. A lot of people are frightened to go out their front door. They don't walk around at night for fear of getting a bashing. That's not what Australia is about. So we're a peaceful nation, we're a very welcoming nation, but there's a limit to what you can take. And people who don't integrate and who are determined to destroy our society, they shouldn't be here.
Exactly. And just on the last point, I think that a big reason around the growing tension in our society is the fact that so many people are getting attacked and marginalised and ostracised for just expressing views, like the way you get attacked when you express views that support the majority of Australians, like the fact and call for Australia to remain Australian, you get attacked and demonised, and I think that sends people over the edge. And what I want is for more open and frank discussion and freedom of speech and less censorship on the internet, so people can have these discussions, and if they're angry about something, to talk about it and work our way through problems. And if we're unable to do that, well, then we can only expect even worse things happening, which would be horrible, which we don't want any further violence.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Good point.
Thanks, Fraser. Thanks for coming down. Thanks again.
Thanks for coming, Matt.
I can't believe you turned up, mate. What are you doing here, you Nazi?
Oh, you know, all I wanted was to be left alone, and here I am, just being witness to an assault against a federally elected senator.
So, what do you have to say about what any thoughts on today?
It's just good to see everybody here. I see a lot of people here that I've met through various activities, various organisations. It's just like other events. It's just good to see that there's a core of people who are ready to do something for our country. It's just
People
great.
who are willing to stand up for their country.
Yeah, and that's what it is. That's all we're doing.
What are you doing here?
I am here to find out exactly what Fraser Anning is all about.
You know what he's all about, mate. He's about far-right bigotry.
Exactly. It was very nice to me, and at the very end of my interview with him, he said I was pretty.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe that's why he wears glasses all the time.
He doesn't wear glasses.
Exactly.
Fraser Anning is a man not afraid to speak his mind, and best of all, he refuses to back down and apologise in the face of a rage mob. That means when the media attack him, his popularity only grows. He really does represent the Australian, i.e. European, community, and is exactly what this country needs right now. The last words go to editor of the XYZ, David Hiscox, who wanted to let everyone know exactly why we were late to the event.
Well, the reason that I was late is a symptom of why Fraser Anning is having to do what he does. Melbourne traffic, man. Melbourne traffic is caused by diversity. Diversity made me late. Diversity is the salt in the cog of the wheel that clogs up the economy.
I hope you enjoyed the video, share the truth around, and I'll see ya when I see ya.